Okay, in this video, I just want to talk about the important things that you need to look at under the first topic in chemistry, which is Introduction to General Chemistry. So let's quickly go over some of these things. Okay, so you need to know the introduction, how to define chemistry, and yeah, some of the parts that are here. Okay, and under motivation talk on chemistry, I would like it if you'd consider energy and the environment, because some questions do come from this part, especially on the parts that you are seeing that they are highlighted in red. You need to consider them. You need to understand what is happening on this part. Okay, if we move on, we'll come to the scientific method. Okay, you need to clearly know how to define the scientific method and the 5 steps that are in the scientific method. So step 1 is this one, you have step 2, you have step 3 here, also have step 4, then step 5. And you also need to define some things under the scientific method, like the law, hypothesis, and theory. You need to know what these things are because you'll be asked on them. Okay, when we move from the scientific method, you need to know the classification of matter. You need to study this one, and you will need to clearly define what a substance is, what a mixture is, and also know these two types of mixtures. You should know them and know how to differentiate them. They can ask you what they are, or they can ask you to differentiate them or give examples under them. So you need to clearly understand them. Okay, you need to know what an element is, a compound. You know this from secondary. And you also need to know the 3 states of matter. I know you know this from secondary. Also, you need to know the properties of matter. They can ask you to name the properties of matter, which are just the physical properties and the chemical properties. They can also ask you to give an example under each. So you need to know the examples under this. They do ask these. Those of you who are going through question papers can testify that I'm not lying when I say that they do ask questions under these too. And you also need to know how to define an intensive property and an extensive property. Also, you need to know the examples under each. They do ask about this, and actually in when I was in first year, they asked questions about this too. And funny enough, I forgot, never paid attention to this. So now did anyways, we move on. Under units, you need to understand the SI units and make sure you memorize this table. You memorize it. Yeah, the basic units, the name of the units, and the symbols. They do ask about this. I think what paper was that? Should be 2022 if I'm not mistaken. This table did come, and you were supposed to fill it in. Okay, you also need to know some of the derived units. You know some of them. Yeah, and we reach this table, the table for prefixes and symbols. This one is also very important. They ask about this. They give you the name. Let's say they give you femto, and they tell you to say what is it equal to. You need to know that femto is equal to 1 times 10 to the power negative 15. If you're talking about meters, then it's meters. You need to know, for example, What's that one? Pico, nano, micro. They do ask about this. Kilo, you already know it. It's 1 times 10 to the power 3. You need to know mega, giga. So in short, you just need to memorize this table. Not memorize, you need to know. Shared in a cave, guys. Okay, mass and weight. You need to know this. Volume. They do ask questions on volume. Make sure you understand. Density. They also do ask questions on density. These are the simple things people assume that they already know, so they don't pass through them, and they find out that they come. So make sure you pass through density. Temperature conversion. Make sure you know how to convert from degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius or to Kelvin. Make sure you know these three forms of temperature conversion measurement. Okay, what else? What else? Handling numbers, scientific. So basically, we talk about scientific notation. Go through this. Very important. Okay, this is all scientific notation. Significant figures. These questions do come, and mostly students don't go through significant figures. They assume that shared in a car they already know and they can do them, and you find that you fail. Significant figures are very important for you to go through because the addition of just this number, that these numbers that you're seeing, if you just miss a point, for example, if you say this is 1.976 Nishna Utoba, you've gotten the question more. If it will, so make sure you go through this. What else? What else? What else? Okay, this is all significant figures. Okay, measurement error and uncertainty. This accuracy and precision. Make sure you know how to define both and distinguish between both. Okay, they ask questions about these. I don't know. What paper was that? So 2022 or 2021? There should be questions on this too. Even random error and systematic error, you should know how to distinguish between the two. Okay, this is all examples on precision and accuracy. Make sure you understand these examples. They can bring you these tables and ask you which one is for precision, this one which one is for accuracy. Like I said, know how to distinguish between precision and accuracy. Dimensional analysis. Also know dimensional analysis or factor label method, just another name for dimensional analysis. And clearly differentiate dimensional analysis in chemistry and in physics. Yeah, clearly differentiate. Know that okay, when we talk about dimensional analysis in chemistry, this is what we mean. Okay, this is what dimensional analysis. Okay, the next thing that I would like you to consider is Dalton's theory of matter. There are things here that are very important that I want you to consider. These laws: law of conservation of matter, mass, law of definite proportions, very important. Law of multiple proportions. These three laws are very important. They come in tests, and you also supposed to know the names of the scientists who okay, you need to know these three laws in short. Okay, what else? What else? Okay, this is not so very important. So be taking note of the things that I'm just skipping and not really talking about, and know the things that I'm talking about. Okay, modern view of atomic structure. Here, know this. Okay, you should know how to calculate the atomic number, the mass number, those things. Know how to calculate these. And when we also talk about isotopes, you should know how to calculate, know how to perform calculations on those as well. The periodic table. On the periodic table, what I really want you to pay much attention on is what's that? Naming of naming of compounds. This usually comes every time it comes. Make sure you know naming of compounds. Understand naming of compounds. All these, please understand this. Okay, I think that concludes what we would say as some of the key points that you need to consider, and under the first under the first topic in chemistry. There are some other things I think I've left out. What's this? Calculation of abundance of an element. I think I didn't talk about that. It's also very important. It comes. Okay, I think we can end the video here. If there will be any questions, please do inbox me on WhatsApp. You guys have my number. Okay, let me write it here. Okay, you can inbox me on WhatsApp using this number if you have any queries about the first topic in chemistry.